Hello, friends. Today, I want to talk about 4 ways covert narcissists try to stamp out, control, eliminate your happiness. And I want to talk about the covert ways because emotional abuse can be so hidden that you can start thinking that it's not taking place. And that's exactly what a toxic person would want you to do. Some of the covert ways that a narcissist tries to control your happiness are so under the radar that if you were to try to talk to somebody that knew nothing about narcissistic abuse, if you were to try to talk to somebody and explain the things that they do, you would be left feeling further invalidated and confused because people that haven't been there don't get it. So that being said, we're going to talk about these 4 ways that covert narcissists stamp out your happiness. We want to identify what they look like, but then we want to understand and learn what we can do to prevent that from happening. If you're able to rid yourself of all toxic people and everybody that's high on that scale of narcissism, then that's wonderful. But most people can't because the reality is they're everywhere. So we're going to learn what you can do so that if you have to be around people that are high on the scale, they don't have the power to take your happiness away. And that's where narcissistic abuse meets complex PTSD recovery. So if you want to just learn about the narcissist, listen to the first part of this video. If you want to move on to looking at what you can do to not be affected by these efforts to steal your happiness, then make sure you watch till the end and get those tips. For those that don't know me, my name is Michele. I'm a certified life and relationship coach. I specialize in helping people overcome narcissistic abuse, complex PTSD, and childhood trauma. I'm also the founder of the Thriver School of Transformation, which is an interactive monthly membership where we meet live on Zoom. And all these things that I talk about on my channel, we work through together. So if you're interested in something like that, just keep in mind that the doors are only open the first 5 days of every month, but I'll leave the link here. If it doesn't work, make sure to come back on those first 5 days of the month. Okay, let's dive in. The first thing that they do to steal your happiness is something they do energetically. And this is why it's so covert, okay? Because we think of somebody that's stealing your happiness as somebody that's insulting you, somebody that is outwardly being difficult. But in this case, the narcissist uses their energy to steal or swap with you. In other words, let's say you come home and you had an awesome day at work and you feel so happy and you're just radiating with joy and you're feeling really proud of yourself and you're in this positive energy. The narcissist will be in the opposite energy as you. Rather than being happy, they will have this mood, right? Just this heavy weight, and just being around them, you can feel just how heavy it feels just in their presence. Now, they're not insulting you. They're not telling you, don't be happy. They're just kind of putting out this negative energy. Most people that are with narcissists are either highly sensitive people or empaths, and they sense people's energy, mostly because they probably had to from childhood, right? If they had so much danger in childhood, they learned how to be sensitive and watch and be hypervigilant to what other people are feeling. And so they notice this energy and they might ask the toxic person, what's wrong? Are you okay? And the toxic person will deny there's anything wrong, will continue in this heavy energy. And because most empaths want other people to be happy around them, right? They feel uncomfortable when other people are not feeling happy. The victim in this relationship may try to help the other person be happy. And everything they do is met with more negativity until one of 2 things happens. You either get exasperated, right? And maybe you snap back at the person because they're snapping at all your efforts to be kind. They're constantly kind of doing everything to get in the way of that. And so you snap. Then they'll flip it and they'll be like, what's wrong with you? I'm just trying to be me. And you're, being so problematic. And before you know it, if you're following the conversation with the narcissist, you might start trying to defend yourself, trying to explain and do things that take you away from the energy that you were in. You get sucked into the drama battle, and it's like somebody took a needle to your balloon, right? And now all of your happy energy that you were in has evaporated. Now, if you wind up staying unhappy, they will flip it and be like, what's your problem? Why are you in such a bad mood? And now you're totally confused and you're like, wait a second, I'm in a bad mood. And again, if you try to over explain, you just get sucked deeper and deeper and deeper into that black hole. I've had so many clients tell me, Michele, one of the hardest things for me is to be able to stay in my energy when I am around that negative energy. Okay, so if you feel that way, make sure you watch to the end. The second thing that they do is they will ignore your triumphs, your successes. So let's say you accomplish something and you're proud of yourself. Okay, obvious abuse would be somebody insulting you. Covert abuse, there are no insults. They're more, rather than crimes of commission, a covert narcissist does crimes of omission. It's not so much what they do, it's what they don't do that really can leave marks in you. So if you are a child, right, and you're in school and you accomplish something and your parent treats it like it's completely indifferent. Let's say you get the highest mark in the class and your golden child sibling got a D instead of an F. That night, everything will be about how amazing that child is, and you will be completely ignored. So again, there's no obvious overt abuse. There's no insults, there's no words. There's simply indifference and a lack of personal interest and a lack of love, a lack of concern. This is so damaging because what it's really doing, especially in childhood, is it is creating or strengthening a belief, I don't matter. And when narcissistic parents can create that belief in a child, that that child doesn't matter and that nothing that they do is ever enough. In the beginning, it's the narcissist not allowing the child to succeed. But once that belief is strong in that child, it will then be the child, the grown adult, who now has this subconscious belief intertwined in their psyche that will stop themselves from success and from moving forward, because they will be living in harmony with the belief that has been planted and watered inside of them. A third way that covert narcissists try to steal your happiness, and this is one that they do in public situations. Okay, so let's say you're out with friends or family. The covert narcissist will be so charming. Let's say you have people over. The covert narcissist will be catering to everyone. They will be cleaning, they will be straightening up, they will be making sure everyone is happy and comfortable. They will be so active in putting everything together, in cleaning up, in doing things that people can see. And everyone will think, wow, you have this amazing person in your life. And you're left confused because everyone's like admiring this person and you're admiring this person too. But the sad part is you're realizing that this person only exists when there's an audience. And when nobody's around, there's no cleaning, there's no catering, there's no making sure people feel comfortable, there's no personal interest in anyone behind closed doors. But if you were to try to say that to anybody there present, they would look at you as if you're a problem, because they are seeing a different side of the covert narcissist than you see. And trying to convince somebody else that this person is not who they're showing themselves to be is next to impossible because remember, narcissists are covert manipulators. You are a regular person. I am a regular person. Going up against an expert manipulator and trying to prove your truth only sets you up to fall into the traps that they set behind. Okay, but what this does, let's say you're actually excited to be around these people and you're actually looking forward to it. Before the event, the covert narcissist will make sure they ignore you and treat you as if you don't matter and make you feel awful about yourself. And again, this could be in covert ways of just ignoring you, giving you the silent treatment. And so suddenly, you're in this social situation and everything you want them to do with you, you're seeing them do with other people. Okay, you're human. And guess what? When you see that happening, that hurts. It makes you feel uncomfortable and it starts causing you to think, well, what's wrong with me? Like, it's just with me. Obviously, this person knows how to have these qualities, knows how to do these things. Why can't they do it with me? And inside, as you're watching, you could be brewing with unresolved and invalidated pain. And this causes you to show up around people as not your best self, which actually is playing into exactly what the narcissist wants. Because when everyone sees you like that and the narcissist is so happy, what they start thinking is that you are the problem. And that's exactly what the narcissist wants them to think. I honestly feel like narcissists are unable to be their best self around other people without having somebody carry their uncomfortable feelings. So the things that they feel inside that they don't want to be feeling, they fling on you, they cause you to feel them, and then they're able to show up as their best self. Okay, so they're setting you up covertly around people to be negative, to be depressed, to be with anxiety, to be confused, while they are charming and amazing. Done over time, not only will this stifle a person's happiness, but it can also create social anxiety because the same negative feelings, emotions, patterns are happening over and over in social situations, and your brain starts making a paired association that being around people is bad and unsafe. And again, this is the danger of covert abuse, is because they're inflicting the danger, they're inflicting the negative emotional states while you're with them or while they're with you. But if you are no longer with narcissists in your life, those paired associations in your nervous system do not pack up and leave with the narcissist. They stay stuck in your body until you work through them and you uncondition yourself and get out of those patterns that they created inside of you. And the last thing that I want to mention is when a narcissist catastrophizes for you. So in this situation, you can think of maybe an adult child of narcissistic parents that's out living their life now, making their own decisions. And some of those decisions are in contrary to what the narcissistic parent wants them to do. And so the narcissistic parent, when the child makes a decision, and usually when it makes a decision that's in the best interest of the child, okay, when it's a bad decision, the narcissist is all for it, which is so sad, but that's for another video. In this case, let's say it's a good decision for you. What the narcissistic parent will do in a way that they care is talk about all the things that will go wrong. Like, what if this happens and then that happens? But if you do that, that shows that you're this, or, this bad thing will happen. So they're catastrophizing. And if you stay grounded, they will then mix that with some guilt and say something like, if you respected me, you would listen to my opinion. If you loved me and cared about me, then you would take into account what I'm telling you. And if you continue to hold true to what you want to do, to your decision, they'll further punish you emotionally, usually by withdrawing their love, their attention, and in this way, hurt you for not doing things their way. And again, why is this covert? Because it's all done under the guise that they care, that they want what's best for you. So it's really confusing. Okay, so those are the 4 ways. Let's talk about what you can do. Okay, so if you identify with that and you see these things in your life, I want to give you some tips to help you to start feeling empowered even when they are trying to steal your power. And when they're trying to stamp out your happiness, they're trying to control your emotional state. The only one that should control that is you. Okay, so for those that are affected by other people's energy, so let's say you're happy and somebody in your family, every time you're happy, they are so negative and it's so hard to be around them. Start practicing separating and acknowledging their energy from yours. Okay, so people that are empaths, people that grew up with enmeshed families tend to have everyone's energy interconnected. You've been conditioned and trained that you're not allowed to stay in your energy unless you get the approval from someone else. In childhood, you did need their approval for so much, right? Including your emotional state if you were with a narcissist. You weren't allowed to be happy unless they let you. And you were too young to know how to deal with anything like that. But shifting is about recognizing that now you can give you permission. So it starts with starting to live life as as an educated empath. I'm not saying don't be an empath anymore, but we do have to reach that place where we are an educated empath, which means, yes, I can feel your energy. An uneducated empath gets confused with whose energy is whose. An educated empath says, that's your energy. This is my energy. I respect yours. I'm not going to try to make you feel anything else. If you want to be nasty and have that negative energy, you're allowed. And I'm still allowed to feel like I had an awesome day. And I'm still allowed to be proud of myself. Okay. But it's like a muscle. You have to really practice to strengthen it. When it comes to people that ignore your accomplishments, okay, what that is training you to do is chase them for validation. Now, in childhood, you needed and deserved and should have had external validation from your caregivers. When you accomplish something, they should have given you that validation because that would have taught you how to validate yourself. Okay, their external dialogue becomes our inner dialogue. But if we don't get that, then we keep seeking validation even as adults. If we're not taught how to validate from within, we will keep chasing validation from other people, which is super disempowering. It means you're not able to allow yourself to feel good and empowered and positive unless somebody else gives you permission. So in order to break that, something that's helpful is ask yourself, like look back in your life at when you needed validation and you didn't get it. And ask yourself, what could someone have said to me that would have helped me to feel better? Once you know what you needed to hear, the more often you look for opportunities to say that now in similar moments that come up, then you are now strengthening your ability to self-validate. Now, in the beginning, it doesn't feel as good as having somebody else validate you, because think about it. If you tried to validate yourself in childhood and the toxic parent kind of criticized you for that or made you feel bad, then your brain learned that doing that for yourself is not good. So there's going to be resistance there. Sometimes we think that the second we do things that are positive, we're going to see an immediate result. Think about when you're planting a garden, right? You plant the seeds or the bulbs of the flowers that you want. You don't go out the next day and be like, okay, where are you? No, you have to water. You have to make sure there are no weeds. Any weeds come up, you have to weed that garden. And then you have to give it time. to get roots and grow. Well, we have to start learning how to do that with ourselves. Sometimes we watch a video and we're like, oh, that's how it is. We expect the next day to have it mastered, and that's not the way it works. So when it comes to validation, start recognizing what you need to hear. And if you find yourself seeking validation from someone else, ask yourself, what do I wish they would say to me? And once you get that, validate yourself, saying it to yourself. And if it feels uncomfortable, you can kind of view yourself in pieces. The piece that wants to hear it is like your child mind that's feeling, that he or she needs something emotionally. The piece that's going to say it is your adult mind. So you imagine yourself saying it from your adult mind to your child mind. And that's how you begin strengthening your ability to validate yourself. Okay, those are some tips that help. But again, it's consistency. Our subconscious mind learns through repetition plus emotion. It doesn't learn from one video that you watch. So remember to look for ways to put this into practice in your life consistently. And if you're struggling to be able to make these changes so that you can break free from the narcissist tearing down your happiness, make sure to check out the Thriver School of Transformation, because that's what we do. We meet live on Zoom and we work through all of these side effects of complex PTSD, of narcissistic abuse, and we learn how to rewire the mind, rewire our subconscious, upgrade our self-image, and really start living as our best and authentic self. So make sure you check out the school when the doors open the first 5 days of each month.